The NPDer, the borderliner, the bipolar, the HPDer, all these men and women have the same thing in common. They love sex. Now, you think to yourself, there's nothing wrong about that, right? And if you're ever with a psychopath, you will notice that the sex is absolutely fantastic, off the wall, off the charts, insane, fantastic. Everything goes. You feel like you stepped into a porno movie. Everything goes. Nothing is taboo. Nothing is off the table. The reason for this is they have no boundaries. So if you're ever with a psychopath, or if you don't know that you are with one, all you have to do is look at your sex life. If you are doing porno movie behaviors with her or with him, then the chances are huge, and I mean gigantically huge, that you're with a psychopath, a narcissist, a borderliner, or a bipolar disordered person. These people are dangerous. Here's why. If you are having intercourse with your partner and they come up with the idea of videotaping it, well, you as a man need to be very careful with that. Because at the moment they will enjoy being videotaped. As a matter of fact, sometimes they'll even videotape themselves. Like they will hold the camera while they're doing deeds. But you have to be careful with this, men. Because at the end of it all, after you evict her, after you find out that she was lying to you and that she was just wearing a mask the whole time to trick you, she will try to use those videotapes against you in court as well, or tell the police that she tried to satisfy you and that wasn't enough, and therefore you needed the videotape so that you could watch it over and over and over again, or whatever excuse they use. They're going to use an excuse to harm you with those tapes. That is just one thing that you have to be careful about with a sociopath. Never to videotape your sexual deeds with them. A sociopath degrades themselves while they're having sex. You see a sociopath, a psychopath, a borderliner, a BPDer, bipolar, MPD or HPD, or all these people, B clusters, all these people, they do the same behavior. They degrade themselves during sex. So while you're having fun and you're enjoying making love to your partner, they're, how do I say this properly? They are trying to drag themselves through the mud by dirty deeds that they're doing to make themselves feel better, because they have an inner self-hatred, a self-hatred that can never be silenced. And during sex is the only time they really feel any euphoria or any pleasure, but it's all physical. They don't have any emotional pleasure or spiritual pleasure. The emotional pleasure, that doesn't even exist for them, but the psychological pleasure that they're getting is knowing that they are sucking you in deeper into their web. So while you're having intercourse with your partner, they are thinking to themselves, I got this sucker. I got this sucker now. Look at him. He's enjoying it. Or look at her. She's really enjoying it. This is a psychopath for you. You need to be careful of these people. You need to be very aware of these people. Because everything that you do will one day be turned on you. A sociopath and a psychopath, when they do have no boundaries and have a lot of sex, you as a person need to become aware of that. You need to say, okay, wait a minute. Having sex 20 times a day and and if you don't feel like fulfilling her one time or him one time that they yell at you, you need to realize what kind of situation you are in. You are being used sexually. It's called sexual abuse. And sexual abuse does happen to men as much as it does to women. But women don't see that. But let me tell you why this happens to men just as much as it does to women. This has nothing to do with rape. It has everything to do with sexual abuse. Women tend to be very sexually active while with a man. They love to pretend that they are not, but secretly behind closed doors they are very, very sexually active. While either they are masturbating in a corner, taking extremely long showers, or sucking on your penis for no reason, like during any time of the day. They see it more as a pacifier than they do see it as a sexual organ. So they will be using your body continuously to fulfill their sexual needs, but you yourself are not really getting anything out of it except for a giant rash or chafing. Take my ex-girlfriend, for example. she wanted sex 20 times a day. And in the morning, every single morning, she would give me a list of sexual deeds she wished for me to fulfill during the entire day. If I did not fulfill one of those things on the list, she would blow up at me, have a big explosion, rage fit at me, and after a while, sex doesn't feel so good anymore because you feel like you're doing a job instead of just doing your woman. So, what I'm trying to say in this entire video is men, you always need to be careful with what kind of women you're with. You have to be careful about how much boundaries they put up, and if they have wild, passionate sex with you, like animalistic sex with you, then you need to understand that this person is an animal, and they will act like an animal, and they will always leave you for somebody else because they have no emotional attachment to you, no caring to you, no love, no respect towards you. They see you as an object. You're just another number in the list. And meanwhile, you're giving your heart away to this person, and they know that you're giving your heart away to this person, and they're using that against you. Imagine being in a relationship where somebody's actually sucking out your love, sucking out your caring, sucking out the way you feel about them, and putting on a mask the whole time, pretending to be somebody else, and then 2-3 years down the road, sometimes 15 years down the road, you find out that they were lying to you the entire time. Every kiss, every hug, every time you had sex, every movie you went to, every talk you ever had, all of it is fake and phony to them. And they don't even have any, how should I call that? I forgot the word. Milestones. They don't have any milestones with you when you're in a relationship with a psychopath. So yes, the sex is great. The sex is phenomenal. But it will all be thrown back in your face one day when you finally evict them, when you finally find out that they are a fraud. And sadly, to all the men out there who are on my channel who have found out that their woman was a fraud, you all have my sympathy and you all have my respect for that, because I know how hard it is to deal with the fact that the person you cared about never cared about you, lied to your face, and used you. I mean, it's still their loss in the end because they can never replace what they lost in you. And they could never keep up who they really were with you, and they had to pretend to be somebody else. So clearly it's their loss. Because you were you, but they weren't them. So they couldn't keep up being with you because they were never who they really said they were. So they have no soul, they have no heart, they have no feelings, they have no spirit, they even have no mind. They are chameleons in this world. And every man out there currently today who is having sex, I want you to be very careful with the women that you do have sex with. Keep an eye on boundaries. No self-respecting woman would do the dirtiest deed you see in pornography movies. They wouldn't. A self-respecting woman would tell you no. Or they wouldn't even offer to do a certain deed. They wouldn't ask of you to do a certain deed. So be careful with these women out there. If they want to have anal sex, blowjobs, and vaginal sex like 15-20 times a day, be careful about that, because that is a woman who has no emotional stability, no emotional caring towards you, no respect towards you, and just sees you as another number. This is War Don't Inspire. See you all later. Bye.